First of all, you had the election last Sunday in Greece. You just come from there. The swing to Syriza, 2.2 million. Where does it come from? Working class, youth, urban areas, or which sections of society mainly?
Well, these elections were the most class-based elections. There was a base class vote. The most class vote since 81, when PASOK was voted for the first time. It was on class lines, basically. And there were a big majority in places where the working class was, in big industrial centers, in big cities, everywhere where the workers were, who had big majorities and big gaps from the new democracy. For example, in the working area of 2nd district of Piraeus, the result was more than 40% for Syriza, and New Democracy got very little percent. There was 22% difference from the two parties. And in all the big cities, we had a big majority for Syriza. In some places, it was more than 20%, 40% in Crete, and in other places. So we had a clear class vote. The workers voted to get rid of this government that was going on in attacks and austerity for all those years.
And they saw this as the only realistic chance to bring about some change.
For the last 2 years, we didn't have any big movement of the working class. This was because they were waiting in the political field to see a change. They saw Syriza as a way out of the austerity. Because the previous period, with more than 30 general strikes, the workers didn't manage to have any victory on this field. This was because of their leadership, of course. They turned from the industrial to the political field, and they waited to elect a new government of their own to get rid of this government. So this is what happened on Sunday.
Now, the ruling class in Greece and Europe was hysterical about the perspective of a left victory, of a Syriza victory. What did they do? And obviously it didn't work. This intimidation propaganda didn't work.
Yes, it didn't work. In reality, the more the bourgeoisie is attacking Syriza, the more it pushes the workers towards it now. And there are very few layers now that were afraid of a big distraction, because for the majority of the Greek people, the Greek workers, the distraction has already happened. They are not afraid that they will lose the money from the banks, because
anyway.
they don't have money in the banks, they don't have debts. They can't lose anything more. There are 400,000 households that have no worker. They're all unemployed. So there is a big distraction, and they saw as the only solution to vote for a Syriza government.
But according to the reports, there wasn't too much enthusiasm, and there was even a bigger attendance at the Communist Party Kukuē rally.
We saw in previous elections, especially in PASOK rallies, big massive demonstrations. Thousands and tens and hundreds of thousands of people coming on the streets. Now there wasn't so much of enthusiasm. People are skeptical. They have a mood of wait and see what will Syriza do. Because since 2012, there is a shift to the right all this period from the leadership that knows that in the limits of capitalism can do so many things.
Now there's this coalition which has surprised many. I've seen in Germany and all over Europe, people were so happy about Syriza winning, and now they were shocked a day later when they heard about this coalition with ANEL. Was this planned right a long time ago? Because normally coalition process in Europe takes weeks or months.
Well, they were discussing in all the previous period. Syriza was discussing for a coalition government with ANEL. Never passed it through democratic discussion in the party, but it was implying it, that it would have a government with anti-memorandum parties. In reality, this is the only common thing with ANEL. ANEL is an extreme right-wing party with a reactionary program in all the other fields, in economy, in the workers' laws, and everything. So it will create many problems later on, as we will see, and it will be a way for the bourgeoisie to control the new government in one way or another.
So ANEL act as the watchdogs of the Greek bourgeois and the European bourgeois in the government.
Yes, that's what they want to do. In this,
What's the character of ANEL? It's not fascist, obviously.
No, it's not fascist. It's a right-wing populist split from New Democracy. When New Democracy made a shift from the memoranda support to anti-memoranda, from anti-memoranda policy
to
memoranda policy, yes, to support austerity. So there was a split from some cadres trying to get populist support in middle layers. I didn't want the memorandum.
But according to the news, ANEL accepted the whole economic policy of Syriza. Is this genuine or is it just a trick?
This is just something they accept it in words, but in reality, later on, they can't, because they're a bourgeois party, they can't accept deep changes, inflicted damage in the interest of the bourgeoisie, Greek bourgeoisie, in one way or another. So I think that if they put terms now for forming a government, not accepting the party, the coalition might break down. So I think it's a tactical maneuver for now. Later on, we'll see this coalition getting in crisis.
But Syriza accepted other points like foreign policy or not touching the privileges of the Orthodox Church and other things. These are the main concessions that Syriza leadership made.
Well, this has happened before
before the elections.
Yes, the shift to the right was going all this period. So probably there was a deal, or probably it was sure there was a deal before. You know, you don't touch the church and you have some kind of coalition in this kind of terms. But after a while, we have serious dilemmas that the independent Greeks will take the side of the bourgeoisie. Of course, they're a bourgeois party. In a way, it's a new popular front that we have seen in history. They will try to pass some kind of laws to ease the pain of the workers, but in the next period, we will see them getting them all back.
But as been said this morning, that they have to bring about some changes, or they have to reverse the worst cuts.
Yes, they can't do nothing. You know, they have big support from below, and especially the members of Syriza are waiting to see some changes. If Tsipras comes out and say, okay, the situation is difficult, we can't do anything, there will be a huge crisis. In the end, this is what will happen. But in the short term, it has to go through with some laws, like putting the minimum wage at 750 euros, like collective bargaining, something which is a very big blow to the bosses. But in any way, it has to go through with it.
And the bosses would have to accept it, although they don't like it.
In words. But the situation in the workplace is terrible. Even now, they don't accept the laws.
So on paper, they would have to accept it. They don't have the possibility to stop it. But they will try to undermine it, the implementation. 1001 tricks
Probably
they have.
This is what will happen.
What's the role of the left within Syriza? I've heard they got 3 ministries, so they will try to pacify them with sort of giving them ministries and positions. This is Lafazani's wing.
The left platform in reality is a strong opposition, 30% of the party in the Congress. But its policy all the previous period was the policy of supporting in reality a national way forward, return to the drachma and things like this. Also, they had some radical measures like expropriation of the banks, stuff like this. But after especially September, they gone straight to the right, supporting the leadership in all the basic decisions. In reality, they have accepted the program of Thessaloniki, And as Syriza was going to the right, they were following in reality. And now they have completely capitulated in this program, and this expression of this that they get into the government. Of course, there's a different situation in the rank and file of the left platform. I think it will be furious in the next period from these choices, because they expect radical reforms in all levels, and this is not possible inside capitalist.
So you represent the Communist Platform in Syriza.
Yes.
You issued the statement yesterday already, condemning the coalition and warning of what's going to happen.
Yes.
What's the echo, or is this the only voice? Is this the only tendency in Syriza that really all out, criticizes
Well, I
process?
think yes. For now, we are the only one to have a clear condemning this populist, this popular front in a way. Collaboration of the bourgeoisie can't give any solution, because in the period of the crisis of capitalism, deep crisis of capitalism, the bourgeoisie has a reactionary role. There is no progressive part, and especially an L that have a reactionary program can't support progressive government in any way. So in the next few weeks, few months, we will see that this government will get in crisis, and the right wing will be a break to any positive progressive measure that will try to go forward.
So there's a short term, if you like, honeymoon, but only for a
Yes.
question of months, not very long.
Not for very long.
And what's
That's what we are putting forward, and I think we will be correct in our analysis. And there is a big gap between the rank and file of the left platform and the leadership now, and all those people are completely disoriented, confused, angry, and the communist tendency could find an echo on all the left rank and file of the party in the next period.
And what's happening in the KKW? They picked up 1%, but they wait, and they wait for the government to get into crisis and for them to get more support.
Well, the Communist Party had an electoral base of about 8-9% before 2012. After this, there was a big pressure that dropped it to 4%. These people, half of the electoral base of KKW going to Syriza, it had some illusions that this government would change many things if it would be formed. But because the Syriza leadership was going to the right, the illusionment started to go away, and most of them have returned politically to the Communist Party. In this vote, they vote. So a part of this electoral base voted for Syriza just to get rid of the government, but I don't believe in Syriza politics. And 1% returned to the Communist Party in electoral terms. But in the psychology of these people are very critical for Syriza. They don't believe they can do anything. And in a way, the Communist Party leadership has been seen as correct in this period, because the Communist Party leadership said, okay, Syriza will become a new PASOK, don't trust him. This has been, in a way, the case in this period of the right shift. Okay. So.
And PASOK seems to be quite finished and split. PASOK is finished. Don't see very likely a revival of PASOK.
No. We believe this to be the case for some time now. The electoral base of PASOK was reduced to old and reactionary base. Petty bourgeois, the workers have completely abandoned it. It's a dirty shirt for the working class. They have thrown it away, and we just wait a final death of of the party.
The hasty split by Papandreou is an expression of this hopeless situation.
All the central left, as they call it, is in a deep crisis in Greece.
Yeah.
The bourgeoisie had a goal of making a big pole of the central left with the Mar, PASOK, and everything else. But this didn't happen, and in reality they had multiple splits. This is because there can't be no central left in Greece, because there is no room for reform. This is the only way a central left policy can be implemented. So have polarization to the poles, the left and the right. So PASOK, yes, is finished. Won't have anything from this part.
And the perspective discussed is for the Golden Dawn to reorganize itself, because these 6% is not really a good vote for them, and doesn't really show at the moment that there would be a mass basis for fascism.
Well, yes, but we also have to say that it's not also a small percentage, it's a third party. In a situation where all the leading indicators are in prison, except one, and they didn't have any electoral campaign.
Yeah, so they have this, if you like, this basis of 6%, even without doing anything, this permanent, relatively stable
support. It's a warning
support.
for the future. It's not an immediate fast threat, as the sects say, but it's a warning for the future. And they will gain also, in one way or another. They might change the name. They might some of the leaders might be released later on. We don't know what exactly will happen. But if Syriza government will fail, and if it tries to stay in the limits of capitalism, we warn that it will fail, then we'll have a polarization to the left and to the right. Probably we'll have a right-wing, extreme right-wing government after this, and the Golden Dawn will rise in one way or another in percentage. So this is the perspective we try to avoid and fight against.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.